Seva, and I'm going to be highlighting technology's effect on business communication. Over the past 20 years or so, the technological communication that swept over the world has had a huge impact on communication in business. There are many different factors that businesses today have implemented into their everyday communications that help improve those communications by using technology. First, I will address how one CEO took to Twitter in light of a big company decision to help communicate with both customers and employees alike. Second, I will talk about everyday technology that affects an internal and external communications between businesses and their customers as well as other businesses. The third and final thing I will speak about is the difference between face-to-face communication and technological communication in group work, and which one, if any, is more productive than the other. In 2011, Chiquita was considering to move its headquarters from Cincinnati, Ohio to Charlotte, North Carolina for various logistics reasons. CEO Fernando Aguirre was an avid user of the social networking tool Twitter, and this did not go unnoticed when talks of relocating the headquarters of the company surfaced. Many advocates of the move took advantage of the CEO's activity on Twitter to state their case. The CEO welcomed and encouraged tweets about the move, and Aguirre kept at Twitter after the eventual move to Charlotte, establishing new relationships with the Charlotte community while maintaining the old ones he had in Cincinnati. These series of tweets give an example of Aguirre's activity on Twitter. As you can see, his first few tweets regarding the business move seem more professional, and the last tweet was in response to a follower, actually about his own personal hobbies and interests, such as the Cincinnati Reds baseball team getting a win earlier that day. This tweet is an example of an advocate of the company's move to Charlotte and how this tweeter took advantage of the CEO's activity on Twitter to try to sway him towards the Charlotte location. The tweeter acknowledges the CEO's activity on Twitter directly in this tweet, then goes on to tell Aguirre the Charlotte community would love to have him. According to an article by IBM on BusinessInsider.com, IBM is one company that's finding ways to adjust to a new workplace by developing the new social email system called IBM Verse. IBM Verse is centered around improving everyday communication between individuals. And in a quote taken by an IBM-sponsored article on Business Insider, it states, IBM Verse is a cloud-enabled and powered by IBM Analytics and Advanced Search. Its mobile compatibilities allow you to access your email whenever and wherever you need to, and a variety of built-in social apps allow teams to work together and stay connected in different ways. This new email system provides a way for groups to work synchronously in ways that are easier than before, as well as a way for individuals to communicate with other individuals more easily than before. An aspect of communication that may go astray when talking about how business communication is affected by technology is that of business-to-business communication. In an article written by Chris Lang on PaymentSource.com, Lang states, in the next year we will see significant adoption and advances in the financial technology, including e-invoicing improvements, more global payment options, and new forms of connectivity. Lang is an advocate of these new technologies because he believes that they are necessary to improve and speed up communications between businesses. Rightfully so, in my eyes. Everyday communications at work are heavily impacted by technology. In an interview with Omar Murad, manager at Lear Corporation, the importance of technology such as email systems and fax machines was stressed, and he was quoted as saying, whether it is sending an email to a colleague or faxing over an invoice or other important time-sensitive material, we use technology for various communication reasons, all just as vital as the next. Business groups are constantly being formed and assigned to a specific duty to fulfill as efficiently as possible. A study was conducted by Gail Strauss of the University of Illinois, Chicago, to test the efficiency of both means of communication, virtual and real life. Results showed that completion and quality of the completed tasks were pretty much equal throughout both means of communication and understood through the mediums. What differed was the ease in which information was communicated through the mediums and understood by the colleagues. For example, face-to-face groups consistently take less time to reach decisions or complete a given task. This may be in part because it takes longer to type than it does to speak, and perhaps because some aspects of the tasks are made more difficult because of the loss of information about other members' reactions and whether or not they are ready to come to an agreement. This proves that the mediums did not put any group at a disadvantage to finish a given task, but it did put the advantage of communicating more easily and quickly to the groups that met in person. This graphic, taken by an article written by Anastasia Trombley on hypergrid.com, showcases the attentiveness of all the attendees at a particular meeting, some attending virtually and some attending in real life. It shows no clear answer to the question of which of the attendees were most attentive. Obvious factors, such as taking a phone call or surfing the web, were committed slightly more by the people who were attending the meeting virtually through a computer medium. Other factors, such as checking email and texting or instant messaging, were committed more by people who were at the meeting in person. According to Figure 1, virtual meetings as well as in-person meetings generally yield similar results when it comes to the attentiveness of participants, regardless of the means of communication. To sum it up, technology has been used to improve communication in businesses in a variety of ways. Some of the means of communications used by the businesses that were exemplified in this report included social networks, maintaining and improving various workplace technologies, and face-to-face as well as computer-mediated group meetings, and which one, if any, was better. Technology played a part in improving the communications efforts of all of these examples. And companies that start to pick up on this trend of incorporating technology in their everyday means of communication will soon find that it pays off dividends. I will now open the floor up to any questions that you may have.
I have a question.
Yeah?
What kind of
Speak up, please.
What kind of communication?
Speak up a little more.
What kind of communication technologies do you think are going to be implemented in the future?
So the question I was asked is, what kind of communication technologies do I think will be implemented in the future? And my answer to that question may be, well, it's probably something that I don't even know of right now, and that nobody knows of or has thought of. That's why it hasn't been implemented yet. But probably the expansion of social media being used in business, that may be something that businesses start to implement in their everyday means of communication. It's being implemented now, as you see IBM Verse. I think companies are just going to take that and run with it. I think it's a great idea and something that has a lot of potential.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
In regard to like settings of business meetings, do you think like 3D holograms will ever be implemented?
Do I think 3D holograms will ever be implemented? Are you talking about like someone who is heading the meeting and they're there as a 3D hologram, like the leader of it?
Like someone in China, for example, in a meeting here at the U.S.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. I think if that is a. Do you know if that's actually something that's real? Has that been invented yet?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, yeah. Then I think eventually, honestly, within the next 10 to 20 years, a 3D hologram would definitely be something that's implemented. Just someone, yeah, like you said, in China would be able to attend a meeting in the U.S. with no ease at all. I think, yeah, that's a great question, and it's very possible that happens, especially with the advancements of technology today. Any other questions?
No, thank you.
Okay, well, thank you guys.
Congratulations.